Vernomatic Productions.
Are you ready?
Live from the Metal Mayhem Studios in Rochester, New York.
We are gold.
And heard around the world by metalheads just like you. This is Metal Mayhem ROC.
Heavy metal music.
Your weekly dose of metal music, interviews, album reviews, news, and more. Want to be part of the show? Send us a message through our website, metalmayhemroc.com, or hit us up on Facebook and Twitter. Search Metal Mayhem ROC, a proud member of the Pantheon podcast team.
It's getting nice and heavy.
Now, welcome our hosts, John the Vernomatic Verno, and direct from New Jersey, Metal Walt.
Good evening, everybody. As always, new content drops weekly. Tonight, we're coming at you Wednesday night. Usually it's Thursday, but tonight's very, very special. On this week's show, Metal Walt are welcoming a special guest, Michael Dadura, longtime AC/DC fan, huge metalhead. Well, he spent the weekend in California at the historic POWERTRIP concert. He's here to tell us about all the ins and outs, concessions, parking, Airbnb stories, the way he got there, everything. It's a really cool, up-to-the-minute presentation. So that's what we got tonight. Let's get Metal Walt down here. Walt, what's going on, man?
Good morning, guys. And Mike and I go back a long time, 20, 25 years. We're metal friends, met at many, many shows, still continue to go shows. We spent a lot of time together. I call him a dear metal friend. He's from Philadelphia. He's a passionate guy. He loves his music and he loves his metal. And I know his favorite band is AC/DC, and I knew he would be there the second they announced this. So really looking forward to talking to Mike about everything that happened to him this weekend.
Well, we're going to get Mike in just a second, but first, just want to remind you, get up to that metalmayhemroc.com website, join our community, sign up for the newsletter. It's a chance to get notifications on everything we're doing here. Live podcasts, live radio shows, CD reviews, concert reviews, everything we have. Visit the YouTube channel, Metal Walt, myself, Southern Cal. We're putting interviews and special content up there almost daily now. So, again, just visit metalmayhemroc.com. All right, well, let's get into this. Let's get Michael Dadura into the Metal Mayhem ROC chat room. Hey, Mike, welcome to the show. How are you, man?
I'm very good. I'm very happy to be here.
What's up, Mike? Long time no see. It's been we saw each other at Glen Hughes and Ingve in the city about a month ago, and it was a good time catching up. But now we're here to talk about POWERTRIP. So, Mike, you are the man. I gotta say, I knew you would do this experience the second I saw AC/DC was going, and you're a guy like me. You go to every show under creation.
I try.
You've been on your 70,000, 80,000 ton cruises over Europe and everywhere in between. But we wanted to talk to you about POWERTRIP.
Yep.
So, Mike, you live down in Philadelphia. So let's start by talk about buying the tickets ahead of time, the cost of things, and then all the logistics going into this for you.
I got lucky. I have two friends that I met on the boat at 70,000 tons of metal in Miami. They were on my cabin. There's a guy named Julian. They're all Canadians. One's from Toronto. The couple I went with, they're from right outside of Ottawa, Montreal. One's a doctor. One's in some sort of logistics or something. And I met them on the boat. They told me right away when it got announced, look, we're getting the A or an AB. And all you have to do is pay me $360 and pay me by October. Like, are you serious? All the rates were about $2,000 to $4,000 to stay for the 4 days there. And a lot of people got screwed when we got there. They got beat out of their Airbnbs. They racked the rates up to $1,000 a day, to $2,000 a day to stay there. It was a fiasco. A lot of people got screwed. And where we got stayed, we were originally by the venue, but they put us in a hurricane relief place where people had to take our place, and they put us in a resort an hour away. So it was a series of lift costs the whole 4 days to get to this place. So I came down with $1,100. I came home with $160. All from the lift.
Mike, just a question though, because we heard a lot of grumblings that even the flying in, like I assume you flew in from Philadelphia or maybe Atlantic City. Where did you fly into, and how was the logistics getting to?
Wasn't bad. It actually worked out. It cost me $1,075 to do it. So I left at 7:15 in the morning on Friday. I thought it was going to be a fiasco. I got to Phoenix by, I'm going to say, 10:30. Then I went on my crossing flight and went right into Palm Springs and got there by 11:30, third time. So I left at 7:15, got there and I went back in time and got there by like 11:30 in Palm Springs. Not too bad.
Now, is it true? Because we heard a lot of grumblings that there was a shortage of cars, like actual Lyfts or Ubers, like to and from the venue.
That was the whole fiasco. So we're technically 35 minutes away from the venue. It took an hour Lyft ride to get there. And there is a shuttle bus that I had to pay $100 extra to get a pass to get on the bus. Only used it twice the whole time. And when we did it, it took us to a part of Palm Springs, not where we were staying, the shuttle. So picture 1 o'clock in the morning leaving the venue, getting back at 2 o'clock, and you have to pay another $40 to get in a Lyft. And there's only 100 drivers to 60,000 people. That's the fiasco of POWERTRIP.
Sounds horrible.
Yep. Well, it's my favorite band, AC/DC. I've followed them since I was 5 years old. I had another fiasco. I missed half of Maiden because I lost my wallet. It took, and one thing I will say, POWERTRIP security, fan-fucking-tastic. Picture being in an Eagles stadium, you lose a wallet, 60,000 fans, you're looking all over wallet through the game to try to find that wallet. They had 5 lost and found venues. I basically was screaming and cursing, thinking life is over because I'm here for 4 days and I have nothing. No ID, all my shit's in my wallet. What do I do? This security guard took his time, took me through every lost and found place, and then we found it. I was praising God and jumping up and down. My anxiety was through the roof Friday night. So I missed half a meeting because I lost my stupid wallet. And then I saw Guns N' Roses and I had to hear the cat vocals of Axl. He was struggling.
But Mike, before we get into the performances, so tell us, how did the wallet get rescued?
They basically, it was some Spanish woman that worked in the section I was in. When I got to my section, I found I was 5 rows, but not rows back, but 5, 100, 200, 300, section 500. I'm like, this is bullshit. I paid $1,400 with the surcharge of $16. I assumed I was in front of the pit per their math when you book the thing because they have tiers. And I booked the VIP. They're like, no, you didn't book a VIP. It's a P3. It's not a P1. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? You know what I mean? A lot of people got through this too when they got there.
So what happened? So describe it, because John and I, we were watching all weekend. We were looking at the images coming around through Twitter and everything else, and they had the drone views. And all you saw was 200,000 people. But describe how like the stage was set up. Like what was in front? Was it VIP and all the way back? Like how were the sections?
It's a huge freaking stage. One of the biggest stages I've ever seen in my life. And it's all LCD. It's all LCD screens, the whole stage. So they're showing all the imagery of the band. The pit's like what you normally see. And then you got like trench. The best way to describe it is like World War I trench warfare. So when I walk in the venue from the Ferris wheel, it's a mile through like all these vendors and shit. And then you get into the marketing and then you're in the field. And it's a polo club. It's where polo go racing. Picture 2 football fields. That's basically what it is. And when you get there, you think you're going to walk from your section to your section. No, they have it all walled off in little walls. So people can't jump over barriers to get to the next section. And then they got this wristband that's technology. You can never take this thing off. If you take it off, you're fucked. You're not allowed back in the venue. Ever. And they had this technology where you press this thing down and it grows green, you can go, red, you're not allowed in the section. That's how they did it. What I did is I got smart after the first night. The second night, I got near pit where the barrier is. I couldn't get past that barrier because I was trying to jump over the barricade to do like what all the other assholes were doing. Too secure, too much security. But I stayed by the fence and I saw from the side view angle. If you saw my videos, they're still like this big, but I'm like 100 feet away where I could see it. If I stayed at my other place, they'd be smaller, like, you know, back in the day when you're on the top level of the spectrum looking down and you're like, this sucks. You know what I mean? I'll pay the $100 in a fucking ticket back in the 80s. Now they're like, what? 300, 400, 500 for front row? Maybe it's 600, you know?
Wow. That's, so this security system, that was it a normal, like the paper wristband, or was it like
no, this is a technology band. This is like, I actually have it at home. Sorry if I didn't bring it with me. It's just a regular like band. They put a lot of money into this thing. It has the POWERTRIP. It has the floor of the pit or GA on the front. And it's a thing that you pound on. Like, you know, you're like playing Jeopardy or something with the Jeopardy stopper or whatever. That's the best way I could describe it.
Now, was there like a gate or something, like an airport? Was it like if you pressed your wristband, then the gate had to open or you couldn't get in? And was there a person there standing watching?
There's a security check before you go through the Ferris wheel. Then you get to the Ferris wheel. Then you got to go through another security check. And then you got to go through your ID check if you're drinking. Have 3 security, and then they check your bags and all that. The bag situation, they're telling you they had like 500 things you couldn't bring in. You couldn't bring in bikes. People brought bikes because they didn't want to take the lift and they wanted to drive it. They bought bikes at Walmart and bike dead. I don't know if they were throwing the bike out when they got to the gig and just left it and called it a lost cause. I don't know, but I seen people with bikes and people were bringing shit in. My buddies brought booze in. They weren't supposed to bring it. Yeah, they had it in the bag and they got through. They looked at Jack. Oh yeah, you're good. You're good. Some other guy we met from Seattle, he got groped. He's a bigger guy than me. He got groped. The guy grabbed his balls, a little 5'5", Napoleon guy. We don't get it. He's getting groped. Oh, you're good. This one looks like a fucking weirdo who's going to kill somebody. Ah, he's good. The big dude. Oh, I want to grope him. Weird.
Michael, talk about concessions.
Concessions? All right. So after I lost my wallet, I had to eat because I didn't eat nothing all day. And all I was doing was energy drinks and little energy bars, the whole Friday night. So finally, when Guns N' Roses on, I'm hearing the cat screams of Axl. I was like, look, I got to fucking eat. This is bullshit. So I go to a taco stand, and I love tacos and Mexican. And then I'm in SoCal. So I'm like, all right, fine. When I get up to the stand, I didn't even think about it. I was like, all right, give me 3 tacos, give me this big-ass burrito, and give me the Mexican drink. Cool. Get ready to pay with my debit card because everything's cashless, right? $57. 3 tacos, 1 burrito, 1 drink. $57. Can you believe it?
Yeah, so it's 3 times as much.
That's more than New York. I never paid that much in New York. I mean, I'll pay like $25, $30 for a meal. You know what I mean? $57. You didn't even give me champagne or give me anything. And I don't drink.
Okay, that was my next question. You don't drink, but how much were beers? Did they have liquor?
$10 to $14 a beer. In some cases, $25 for a shot. The Canadians I was with, they probably went through about, I'd say, $600 on one night drinking.
Yeah, well, they probably had the loot. What about merch? I heard it was a gory detail with the merch.
I dropped $240. So this shirt you see I'm wearing, this is a flannel with the POWERTRIP logo. That's all it has. I bought it because I figured this is something nice to work I could wear, and it's not offensive. $75 for this. But then the commemorative AC/DC shirt has the Canon POWERTRIP at Indio, or no, it is Power Up at POWERTRIP. That was $45. And then I got the black one. It's like the back and black one with the band, and it says POWERTRIP with the date on the back. That was $45. And then I bought the event shirt. The event shirt, it's a gray shirt, it says POWERTRIP, and it has all the bands with the logo back to 2023. That was $45.
Did you make it to the AC/DC bar?
Yes, I did, and I missed Angus Young by 10 fucking minutes.
Ugh.
Describe that. What was that like, Mike?
Photos.
What was the place, like a pub turned into like an AC/DC pub? Did they just read the front?
One room where they have a guy with a security checking IDs. You get in there and they have all kinds of memorabilia. And then in the back, they had posters, and I ripped the poster off the wall, the Bon Scott one, with the band lineup. I got that. And then they had a big AC/DC, I don't know, like it's a whole wall. I mean, if you saw my picture, it's the big thing in neon, lit up like it's on the stage. You can take a picture with that. They had his guitar where you can pick his guitar up and it says rock or bust. And then they had a makeshift store. And then they had food trucks in there. And then they had, the bar had the big red POWERTRIP voltage sign. You can take a picture with that too. It was pretty neat. And then they had the wall with the mist of time, that mural. You can take a picture of that when you first come in.
So this was something like they built.
Huh?
This is something they built just for that? Like they built an AC/DC bar, or was it an existing like structure?
I think it was an existing place and they just put shit around it. And then what they did is they painted the mural on the side wall. Then they start putting posters up at the back. And then when you went inside, it was probably just a little dive bar. They just decided this is ours. And if you remember who made who with the TV sets, they had that in the bar in the back. And they had like AC/DC stuff all throughout the bar. They had a swordfish with Angus Young baited on at the bar. It was kind of cool.
Now talk about Angus going in there. So you said you missed him by 10 minutes.
Yep.
When was that? What day and what time and
that was
all that?
when Tool was performing, because I didn't really care about Tool. And I decided, I'd say he went in around 4. I got there about 6 or 7. So basically, I missed him by about 10 minutes. All he did is they walked him through. He went in the bar. Some old dude met him. Didn't take a picture. He let his girl get a picture with him. I'm like, why didn't you take a picture? I've been following this band since I'm like 60 years old. I'm like, dude, I'm 53. I would have jumped right on it to get a picture with him. Why didn't you get a picture with me, moron? So this other dude, he got him as he was walking out. They did like a quick photo. I got him on my Facebook. If you look at my Facebook, and some girl got him, and that was it. Everybody was like trying to bombard him, and it was like massive. It was like a Slayer mosh pit. Angus Young walking up against the wall with his security guys and all these people, trying to get in on him, And then he went to the bar, walked there for 5 seconds, then I guess just back to the car, and that's it. I wish I was there. I would have been going nuts. I only met him once in '88.
So this bar, this was an existing bar, and they just gravy trained the gig and made it so it wasn't an AC/DC sponsored bar or anything.
Well, yeah, it was a sponsor one because when you came in, they had a big AC/DC like sign, and they had high voltage, and it was all neon, like Vegas. Right.
Okay.
They put up all this shit, and that voltage sign at the bar that's from POWERTRIP, that was a neon sign. Like a Vegas neon sign. That's what they did.
I read that the bar's gonna keep all those murals up. It's permanent fixture now.
Good. So it'll be like some sort of touristy thing. Oh, by the way, the Uber guy that drove me there, or Lyft guy, he told me this is sort of like a ghetto where this is. It's Indio. You're in the city of Indio. And where I was for the India thing is like towards Coachella. So it's like a rich polo club property. And you have to drive, it's like 5 miles from the club. So this is like sort of in the hood, but I guess the hood of what you would consider Palm Springs or desert or whatever. You know what I mean?
I was sharing with Walt. I have a real good friend who was staying with her sister there in Palm Springs, not for the concert, just in general. And they lived so close in a gated community. They had to have security clearance and special passes to travel around. And
they were like, you had to have this thing to get in that field. And if you didn't have it, they didn't want anybody near it.
It's too bad we didn't know each other because we had an invite to stay with them for free. And they were
should have went. Because all you had to do was pay for your ticket. You could have did a $600 general ticket, and it would be like Candom, or like, one of those outside venues that you're on the field, but it's farther and you can't see shit. That's what my friend Kristen was saying. She's only 5 foot. She couldn't see shit in GA. He was complaining the whole time.
Yeah, no, we saw Metallica in August in Jersey. I saw Maiden last fall up close up in Ontario. Guns N' Roses, I'll take a pass. Tool, I would see them in a different venue. Judas Priest, I've seen them 5 times in the last 5 years. And in AC/DC, they're gonna do a tour.
I hope that's what the rumor is. So the rumor is Hellfest. They're going to headline Hellfest in France. That's the rumor, and I'm thinking about.
They're doing stadiums next summer.
So June is Hellfest. You know about Hellfest, right?
Yeah.
Yep, in France.
That's the one with the Lemmy statue. I'd love to go to that. Supposedly the ticket's only $340 for that, and I guess it's general admission everywhere. You come first, come first serve. That's what it is. You run in that field and get where you're wearing. You're not going to be like in these World War I barricades where you only have this area and you can't climb over this big wall that we put. Because they make it look like you're going to walk up to the front. You can't in that place. It's so secure.
That's the European festivals. They're typically out in the middle of nowhere, and they just set up these fields, and they got stages all over the place, and you got to rough it and make your way up to the front.
This thing in this Indio, it was like Blitzkrieg. They had everything secure. They knew what they were doing. They had like barriers, and you had to go through certain places. There was like so many, security places you had to go through. So I guess it was awesome because I got my wallet back because it was that secure. That security was top notch.
That's awesome.
My whole thing would have been a fiasco if I never got that wallet back.
Yep. Well, I'm glad you did.
Day one. I was praising God, praising Jesus. I think He's my Lord and Savior. Thank you very much. Oh my God. Because I was excited for this. I didn't sleep before I got to this concert.
I'm sure.
I was that excited. I slept on the break.
Take us back to Friday night. Let's talk a little bit about the performances. So I know you missed part of Maiden, but this Maiden show, I guess in a sense, they only did a handful of shows around Western Canada leading up to this, and it was really the European show from the summer, which is a much different set list than when we saw them last fall. They were concentrating on Somewhere in Time. They did different songs off Senjutsu. So talk a little bit about a Maiden, and then let's get into a little bit about Guns N' Roses. Guns N' Roses going on, 10, 11 at night, playing 3 hours? How does anybody have the energy for that?
That's the way it went. That's the way it was. They were better when I saw them at the Link at 15. Because I only saw Guns N' Roses once. That was the Wolf Mother show. His voice was on. Here, he was struggling. He was straining. Maiden, they opened with Somewhere in Time, which went nuts. That was good. That was the Doctor. Then they go into the Blade Runner theme, and then Somewhere in Time. And it's all the fucking lights from what you saw from 86 with all the imagery on that whole stage and the energy of Maiden, like you normally see. And then they go in the Schrader to Strange Lands, the second song. And then after that, I got lost with the wallet, all that shit. Then they did Alexander the Great midway. And then they had, the thing from 86 where remember the laser tag with Bruce Dickinson and Eddie, and he's got the gun and all that shit? They did that, but they did it with something better. My buddy from Canada was telling me about it, where they're shooting each other on the stage and doing that stuff. The duel.
That's awesome. So what about now going back to GNR, right? So you said his voice is struggling. Like, a 3-hour show, to me, unless you're Rush, like Guns N' Roses doesn't need to be doing a 3-hour show. But did you stay to the end? Did you stay till 1:30 in the morning?
Most of it. I seen most of it, and then I say towards the tail end of it, I think they ended with Paradise City, I think. But I was already in the merch line because I called my Canadian up, and I'm like, we all got lost, and I'm like, where are you at? He's like, dude, we're in the merch line. We're not sitting through that anymore. We can't take his voice. So I was like, all right, get to the merch line. It's a line around the corner, but I butted because they were already up front further. And that's where I got all my stuff. I had like 4 things. I dropped 240. He dropped like probably 400 or 500. He got the Maiden hoodie. He got the POWERTRIP this. He got the AC/DC Back in Black shirt, the Judas fucking Priest. And it says Power Mad fucking Priest, or not a Power Mad, POWERTRIP fucking POWERTRIP or something. It's a POWERTRIP on the front fucking, and then fucking Judas Priest on the back. That was a cool shirt.
Hey, Michael, were those times? When did Maiden go on? And did Guns N' Roses go on at 10 o'clock?
Yeah, they went on time. I probably maybe 10 or 15 minute delay, but they went on time. Maiden went on about, it was supposed to be 6:45. I'd say closer to 7 they went on.
Yeah, there was a delay on the Maiden set. There was, they said they were having...
Everybody was coming in late. That's what it was. It was just this wall, and you had to walk miles to get in. And that's another thing. When you're coming in, when you get there and the Uber guy leaves you off, you're getting a fence. You have to go through a security check, and then you have to walk a mile to the Ferris wheel. So what they have set up for you, if you don't want to walk, you have to pay $25 to one of these people on a bike with a little carriage. I did it Sunday night coming back. I got a hot-looking chick. She's like, what song do you want? I was like, I want friggin' Long Way to the Top. And we're jamming to it. I'm watching her ass. She's driving the bike, and I'm videoing it. $25.
Yeah, we took one of those. We went to a Dolphin game last fall, and they had the little carriage. It's like old school.
He's kind of like this, and I'm like, I'm going to sing, riding down the highway. So Guns N' Roses went on at 10, and they did their, and Walt, to comment on Guns N' Roses playing for 3 hours, they have 2 guitar solos. They throw in 4 or 5 cover songs that don't need to be in there. It's nonsense. They did Civil War. They didn't Don't Cry, but they did November's Rain. That was towards the end, November's Rain. They Welcome to the Jungle came on early, by the way, not late, early in the set. I was surprised.
Well,
some of it was good, but some of it he was really struggling when he was trying to do the high notes. He couldn't hit the high notes. The lower notes he was doing high. I kind of like him. I know he's got the attitude. He's a big asshole, but he was all right.
Listen, we early on when POWERTRIP was announced months ago, we were talking about this on our show. I had a little conspiracy theory, which I still think is right. And I know that Axl obviously fronted AC/DC for a period there when Brian was struggling. And
I enjoyed that.
But ironically, they positioned the AC/DC show and the Guns shows on different nights. And my thought was, hey, you never know. If Brian wasn't able to sing or he needed some help, Axl could have been on the sideline ready to come in just in case.
Yep. He did a good job there because they did One Way to the Top, and Brian will never do that because that's Bond's song. And when I seen him do it at the First Union Center, I was floored because, dude, High Voltage is my favorite album of all time. Bar none. I've been following him since I was 5. I'm 53.
Let's move on to that AC/DC set. So day 2, it was Priest opening for DC. So there's a buzz with Priest with the announcement of the new Invincible Shield. Wow, what was that? What was that scene like? Because they were added on. They're the new kids. Was there a strong Priest contingency there?
Oh yeah, there was a lot of people into it. That show I got to the side to see from the pit, and it was just like what we always see. They did all the old stuff, the new stuff. What is it? Firepower. I forget what song it is. It went well, and they had the thing with the robot and all that stuff. Metal Gods was phenomenal as always. All the old stuff, the good mix. You were like pumped after it was over. Then when AC/DC's coming, everybody's like, the whole place was going to go up and up.
What about Glenn Tipton came out, correct?
Yep, like he always does. The last 3 songs.
Yeah, and When did they announce Invincible Shield in terms of? I heard it was something in the beginning. Did they actually put the image of the album up on the screens?
I think so. Because I was on the side. It was hard for me to see it from the side because this thing, you could see like some pictures on the side, but if they did it dead center, I didn't see it.
Okay. So
because I'm in the side view watching at that time.
Mike, before we get into AC/DC, because this is what the big part is, right? There's a lot of images floating around about a lot of the artists actually watching the shows. There's pictures of Kirk Hammett in the pit. There's pictures of James in the pit. There's a picture of Rob Halford driving or riding in a little bit of a back of one of those golf carts.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's really cool that throughout the weekend, the artists were kind of hanging and supporting one another while watching each other's shows.
Yep. So 2 of the guys I met in my hotel, they went to the cocktail bar in the back for Friday night during Guns N' Roses. They decided, we don't care. We just want to keep drinking, and they're pounding. They're both from Seattle. One guy defected to Texas. That's his story. So they're drinking, having fun. Some guys there were a little groupie, and they're talking about Tom Petty. He's like, I played with him in the studio. Guess who it was? Steve Harris. So they met Steve, and you know how Steve does this sometimes at the venue. He'll show up to the bar in the venue, meet a couple of fans, and then just bail out of there real quick by himself. No security. So he did it again, and these 2 guys met him. I was like, did you get it back? No, we didn't even know it was him. We just started talking, and we figured it out. Then he rolled with this groupie girl. Oh, you got to be kidding me.
Going back to that
once.
Going back to that preset, some of the videos I saw, tell me if this was true. Rob was sort of taking it easy on the vocals, doing a lot of the microphone to the crowd and have
watching in the sky. Yeah.
Well, not so much the scream, but like having the crowd sing more of the chorus, like in Electric Eye. And I've seen Priest a bit in the last 5-6 years.
Everybody sings that song. Everybody sings that song. That's a phenomenal song. I made of metal my second screen.
Yeah, I just thought my impression was I thought he should have been singing some of that, but
I got you.
But
I didn't notice. I just kept on going because I was just all happy. I was happy to be there, hearing that music. It felt like I'm like at 16 and 86. You know, that's what I was feeling like.
I think it was also Rob conserving his voice. I mean, they haven't been on tour in a while, over a year plus, right? I mean, guys up in age now. He's probably saying, I want to deliver a great 90-minute set, the best I can. I'm going to take it easy. Let's, get the voice warmed up, get it greased up, and hey, listen, still awesome. But now let's move on to AC/DC.
Okay.
So talk about this, Mike. I know this is your favorite band in the world. What was the buzz like after Priest?
We're all going nuts. The guy next to me, he's older than me with his kid. The kid's seen him maybe once, and he's like, what song? I'm like, I'm going to guess Shot in the Dark, because that's usually what they traditionally do, is open up with a song. No, dude, they usually do Shoot the Thrill or this one or that one. I'm like, I don't know. We'll see. And we're like, all like chanting, screaming, doing the singing of the songs and all that stuff. And I'm doing the Spring for Me, you ghetto bastards, let's go crazy, all that stuff. And then they come out, you hear the guitar come, and it's what they come right into. If You Want Blood, You Got It. I'm like, oh shit, Bon Scott, right to start with Brian? Holy shit. Half the set was Bon Scott's songs, half the other part was Brian's. And he did a really good job, a fantastic job. He did great at the Bon Scott song. He didn't struggle at all, Brian.
No, it was a great set list, and it was 24 songs. That was unbelievable. 24 songs.
Doggy Dog, Sin City, Riff Raff, 2 from Power Age. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's my favorite album, Power Age.
Oh, yeah. I was hoping for, Alabama Blues, but nah, they didn't do it. But I was hoping.
What about the band? It's the videos I saw, it looked like they're spot on. And, AC/DC.
I think it looked good, by the way. He's got the balding thing going, but I think they prepped his hair up a little bit to make it look like it's, not thin. And he's got the white. He looked awesome with his white little shirt and all, and a little suit. Got the hat, raise it back off, and it's like, who made who all over again,
What about the new drummer?
Isn't he from Slash or something?
That I'm not sure, but as first
I think
time,
he Slash the Snake Pit. He was the Slash the Snake Pit drummer.
Well, it's the first time he's ever played with a band.
Yeah, I think he's from Slash the Snake Pit. He did a good job. They were on. And supposedly the rumor is they did 3 checks. They did one on Friday, they did one on Saturday, and another one, because Angus wanted to get it all perfect, and he didn't want to have anybody saying, "Oh, this sucks. This isn't great. They don't got it anymore." So they did 3 sound checks before on different days. Another thing that was crazy is when we got there on Friday, I wanted to go hit the Target around the corner from that hotel that I was like an hour away or 30 minutes away from this place. Cliff Williams walked in that Target. Some Mexican kid got a picture when he had no security. He was just shopping in Target. Like, how the hell is this possible? Supposedly Mike Tyson has a place around there, and I guess either Guns N' Roses or AC/DC stayed there. That's what the rumor was.
Wow.
That's the rumor. I don't know if that's true, but that's what I heard in stories.
Wow.
I was going nuts. I'm like, I got to meet one of these guys. Son of a bitch. I wish I would have got picked because I probably would have got a picture with that Bill and damn it. You know what I mean? And Wendy Dio was there too, by the way. I saw pictures with Wendy Dio.
Okay.
People were taking pictures with her on the field. I don't know what the hell she was doing there, but I guess a lot of celebrities were there because this was a big effing thing.
How was Angus's stage performance? Like, did he slow down at all? Granted, he's 75.
No. He's doing the jig, going all over, going out the ramp, the whole thing all over. Yeah, it was good. He didn't come over to where we were. Neither of the bands did. Metallica tried it. They didn't really do it. They were going the other side. I don't know why. Priest did it a little bit. Guns N' Roses were all over the place. That's the best way I can describe it.
Now, how about Brian's performance?
My Woodstock. That's the best way I can describe it, Scott.
Yeah, your Woodstock.
My Woodstock. My personal Woodstock. That's what this was. All the bands I grew up with, that I came up with, that means something, you know?
Yeah.
Except for Tool. I can care less about Tool.
Now, Mike, what about Brian Johnson? I mean, I've seen the videos too. I think he sounded good. How did it sound? How did he sound being right there at the venue itself?
Clear as a bell. I'm on, 300 yards away, maybe 200 yards away. He sounded like you're in the Spectrum or in any venue or like at a Tower Theater. That's what it sounded like to me. Clear.
And was Stevie doing background vocals to kind of help it out? Stevie and Angus?
Yeah, and Cliff. Stevie and Cliff like it traditionally does.
Wow. It's amazing stuff. Well,
it's like my first time seeing them in '88 with LA Guns on the Bluff Your Video tour. It's exactly how it sounded.
Well, no one ever had a problem with Brian singing live, per se.
He's got the hearing problem, but I don't.
Hearing.
I didn't see any problem. He wasn't struggling. He was like, he was happy as shit. He was like a lark.
Well, I think he had gotten fitted for different kind of hearing devices a couple years ago. I think when they were recording the new album out in Vancouver, I remember them saying that he could come back into it because the technologies have advanced and it was helping him out, right? So probably avoided a problem again like he had that time when Axl had to come in and rescue him. But
did he have the same problem Pete Townsend had? Because I heard rumors Pete Townsend had this problem over the years of playing the big shows and the decibel. Yeah. His hearing is all like gone.
Yeah, I think Pete Townsend has tinnitus, which is more like the ringing in the ear. But I think Brian Johnson was more like, I think, just hearing loss versus tinnitus, which are two different things. But
that's horrible. Yeah. I thought I was hearing loss right now. He can't hear call.
And the thing with Johnson was also he's involved with the race car driving. So there was a thought that too. It wasn't so much all the tours with AC/DC. It was more all the years at the track with that different kind of low-end volume.
You have the sound thing?
Yeah, so AC/DC. So at this point, well, how would you rank the bands outside of your preference in terms of performance?
DC, Priest, Maiden. I'll say Maiden and Priest are level, but I seen them like 20 times. I saw Priest 20 sometimes. They're all good. Metallica impressed me this time. I did not like what they did in Pittsburgh. I saw them in Pittsburgh in 2022. They did, what was it? Saint Anger, So Close, So No Matter How Far, Sad But True. Then they do Whiskey in the Jarro. I'm like, why are you doing Whiskey in the Jarro? This is the most boring song. It's not your song. You're wasting my time. I want to hear Creeping Death. I want to hear Old School. I want to hear Injustice for All backtrack that you never play. It's just like I was bored in Pittsburgh.
I saw the Buffalo show last summer, and I fucking loved it. And I thought Whiskey was one of the highlights.
I was bored.
And I go back. No, there was totally. Well, that's my perception. It was total. They rearranged it, and it was
I was making fun of it when I was watching.
What's that?
I was making fun of it when I was watching. I'm like, this is horrible.
Well, I thought it added something different because they were doing it differently. And last summer, James was at a different place. And remember during that song, they did the slow down part, and he was like, You know,
That's what I like. He's talking about suicide. And he's gonna, my death style is my lifestyle. I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ, please no. Please no. I just want to hear Injustice. I want to hear the first 3 albums. I don't want to hear this garbage.
But what made it better for you, Mike? Why did you come out of there feeling re-energized?
He was more into it. Hatfield. Lars was like he always like before the way he used to be with the drumming. Kirk is all over. And then when they did the little jam in the private song with Here Indio, we're gonna do the Funkin' Desert song for you. We wrote this for you. They were all into it. They were high energy. Then they're saying, our favorite band played tonight. We're not gonna even say who it is. We know who it is. It's AC/DC. Because they have Long Way as their intro song with that, Clint Eastwood song from The Good, Bad, and the Ugly. We know why they were there. We know they were in the thing. So that made me happy even more. But Hatfield was more into it. It was like he was trying to go back to that 91 feel, or 89 when they just got Justice roll out. We're at the Monsters of Rock. It had that. We know we're here, and we're trying to compare to our heroes. That's what we're trying to do.
Now, Mike, I got to ask you because John and I were at the MetLife shows in August, and
I didn't get that.
Obviously, they had their own stage set up, in the round and that kind of thing with the towers. How much of the presence of the tour was brought over here, or did they basically just play on the standard stage and no other little side stages or anything?
Standard stage. They didn't have the thing. This is the first time they haven't had that. It's just a normal stage. It's just a big, long stage, the biggest stage you've ever seen. But the only thing that comes out is just that little thing where Angus and them can look out to. The little one, not the big one. Like, remember when we were at MetLife and when AC/DC played with Anvil, they had the thing where it came all the way up where Brian and then go all the way in the midsection, in between the 2 sections. It didn't go out that far from what I noticed.
Yeah.
But then again, I'm 200 feet away. To me, it looks even smaller. You know what I mean? I could be wrong.
Yeah. So I would think Sunday was probably, listen, disappointment's a horrible word to say, but after the Friday performance, and then, of course, Saturday's the pinnacle. Tool and Metallica. Metallica's already been cycled through. I mean, 2 great bands, but I would almost imagine the energy level of everybody that went there to see the weekend was probably already at its peak past Saturday night. Saturday night, people are staying out late. They're probably going out drinking after AC/DC and everything in between.
They were. And then they were moving people up. If you had tickets and you got there at a certain time, like the tickets where I was, they're going to put you in the grandstands because Metallica was going to film the video. They were moving people up for it.
Oh.
That's what they were doing. That's what I heard. But I got there late because I went to the AC/DC bar and decided, if I see Tool, I see Tool. If I don't, I don't. I wanted to, but I just AC/DC was more important to me going to that bar, see the bar.
Yeah, so you didn't. So you didn't see Tool. So you didn't see Tool.
Nah, I missed them.
Real cool. I mean, Tool. I love Tool, but Tool recycles tours.
Good. My Canadian friend said it was good. The only disappointment is there's no Chisholm. That whatever that's Chisholm.
Schism. Yeah.
Sorry if I mispronounced it. The fan I am.
Yeah, and Tool's great. I mean, they always have great screens, great visuals. Maynard, you never know.
Rock and metal. Don't get me wrong. But.
Right. Maynard shows up. He's always in a different look. Like this time, he had the mohawk with the war paint on. He looked cool, but
that's what he looked like. Yeah.
So
I told him once. They opened for Megadeth on Ozfest, and he was completely bald.
Yeah.
There he was actually performing. Because my understanding, he tries to do the Morrison thing where he turns to the crowd and he's looking at his band and he doesn't want to be the front man. I hate that when they do that. I'm like,
he does. Well, I don't know why that is, but I think it's also because he likes to give his band credit because they're the real musicians that write it. And they're like, he wants them front and center. He stands in the back, and listen, they're still out on tour for Fear Inoculum, which came out, 4 years ago, maybe even before the pandemic.
No.
Yeah, but I mean, it's good to see them still out there. They have a whole nother U.S. tour coming up this
I might check them out
this fall, and in the winter they're playing up in Allentown.
And then a Perfect Circle is on that new tour with System of the Down that's going to be happening in Vegas.
Yeah, yep.
Perfect Circle, I have to check them out. I like that one song.
Yeah. So now, Mike, going back to Sunday night, now wrap the weekend up for us.
What, the end? How it ended?
Yeah. Like, what was the end? Like, the vibe when the Sunday night was over, the venue shutting down, everybody's back to the hotel and all that other stuff.
So Saturday night, Sunday night, it was like the Walking Dead. Walking out of the venue. As the crowd goes, you go, the crowd stops. So the walk from leaving from the back of the venue to that Ferris wheel is probably about 30 to 40 minute walk. It doesn't take that long to get to the Ferris wheel, but walking in that, like you're like the Walking Dead, the zombies, that's what it felt like. And I kept making fun walking through. I'm like, yo, let's kill Rick Grimes. I'm sick of this. AMC's, the Walking Metallica Dead. Come on, you assholes, you old fucks. Move. I got to get out of here. We're like just a zombie walk, man. It was insane. So if you bow, somebody's going to walk on you. That's the way it was.
Mike, when this show was announced, we want your opinion on this. We're like, why Tool? If you wouldn't have Tool on there and you had another classic metal band, who do you think should have had that other spot?
Saxon.
Saxon?
But they fell right in with Iron Maiden and Judas Priest, but they're not that big here. Who's big at that hour? Who else could you got?
Well, that's a question. Saxon falls under. I don't think they're big enough. They wouldn't fit in.
They're not big enough, but they're within the Priest, Maiden level. Who else can we get? Except, I don't know, Diddy.
Well, they did their best shot by trying to get Ozzy, and then their rumor came out after he canceled. It was actually supposed to be the Black Sabbath guys were going to be there, and I think they offered the gig or performance to Tony Iommi, and Tony Iommi declined it. The classy musician he is, what is he going to do? Come up there and jam with some other band, Metallica guys, and do some Sabbath covers? But it didn't make sense. But believe me, we would love that. We would love that. But for a show of that magnitude, it was either, unless it was Ronnie James Dio or Ozzy, the Sabbath guys are not coming up to the to Power Trip. But
I want to get Ian Gillan and do the Born Again. I don't think that was that big here in the States. In Europe, it's bigger, right?
Yeah.
It's not here.
It is. The bands like that are bigger in Europe. Yep.
What about Deep Purple?
That would probably work, but I would love it. I don't know if the kids would love it. I would love it because I love Rapture the Deep and that type of stuff. That's Rapture the Deep. I love that as much as Smoke on the Water and all that other stuff. Plus, I like the Mark III line. I love Glenn Hughes. I love Dave Coverdale with Deep Purple. I love Ian. Don't get me wrong. I love Ian Gillan.
Well, we'll never know, but that was the question we always, we debated.
Who could fill in from the 80s that was big and still big today? I don't know. Who's touring that's big here that's still doing
I think that was it. It was
Tower.
Our first reaction was when Ozzy pulled out.
Whitesnake, maybe? They're still doing arenas, sort of, I guess.
Yeah, but Dave's struggling singing too. Yeah, Def Leppard.
Megadeth, maybe. I don't know.
They did the right thing when Ozzy bowed out. The first thing John and I said, Priest is getting announced. It was like within 5 minutes, I'm like, Priest is getting put in there.
I'm glad they were. I'm glad they were. I mean, they put Kiss in there. Okay. But I've seen them a bunch of times. That's not the real Kiss. I want the real 96 Kiss. That's what I would want if they did it. You know what I mean? I don't want Thayer. I mean, Thayer's good, but I'm not paying top dollar for Thayer.
No.
Yeah.
Thayer's better than Ace at this point, but...
Yeah, but come on. It's nostalgia. If you're paying this kind of money, you want... I saw the real Kiss with Peter Criss, not with the guy who's the hired gun that thinks he's bigger than what he is. I mean...
Hey, he's a short drummer. But, Michael, listen, I've done some quick calculations through our conversation, and I came up with you got about almost $7,500 invested into this Power Trip weekend, from flights, Ubers, merch, tickets to the show. So, a couple questions. Would you do it again? What would you do differently?
If I could go back in time, I would have paid for the $1,600 pit ticket. If we knew more about where to stay, and if we could get a place to stay right near the venue, and it wasn't going to be, $1,000 or $2,000, I would have done that, because the whole thing would have saved me all these lift rides. You know what I mean? Yeah. That's the big thing. But the big thing is having to be in that pit, and I could go anywhere I want in the venue and not worry about, I went through this. Oh, no, you're not allowed in this section. You got to go over 500 feet over this way, over this barrier, or go 500 feet over that barrier. I'd rather have pit, because I paid $14, it came to $17. If I did the $1,600 pit ticket, it would only been $1,800, and my flight would have been $1,075, which I did pay, and I paid $360 to stay. If I could have paid $360 to stay closer, which probably wouldn't have happened, it would have been cool. That's the only thing that I regret, and I regret losing my wallet, of course, like a dupa that I am. I'm a Polak, by the way. Dupa. That means ass in Polish.
I know that term well.
Good.
Dupa.
Dupa Juda means asshole in Polish, by the way. I like that one. Dupa Juda.
Well, listen, I'll let you guys say goodbye. Michael, thanks for joining us.
I hope I was good, and I hope I didn't annoy or drive you guys crazy.
Michael, this was great. You were the perfect guy to be a Power Trip, and
I hope.
This was an awesome conversation. I'm glad to christen you into Metal Mayhem ROC. We'll have you back on again.
The greatest man of all time.
Sounds good, man. Buddy, it's always good catching up, and we'll talk soon, all right?
Wednesday? Happy Wednesday. All right, man.
See you, Mike.
Cool, man.
All right.
Have a great night.
See you, Mike.
Bye-bye.
All right, well, hey, that dude's high octane. I wonder if he's one of those get up at 6 a.m, get a workout in, and pots of coffee.
Dude, the funny, listen, he's that guy. I've hung out with him many times. He's a maniac. He's one of those guys that goes into, like, I'll give you an example. Overkill was filming Wrecking Your Neck live. It was their 25th anniversary down in Asbury Park. And the band's out there, like the crew's filming the fans on the boardwalk. He's front and center. He knows every lyric to every song. He acts them out. He's like one of these stage performer guys. I only got to know them because I was at so many shows with him through the years. I'm like, I got to just go talk to this guy. I feel like I know him.
Well, he's a good dude, and we welcome him to the Metal Mayhem ROC community. All right, Metal Walt, we got to get out of here. It's early Wednesday morning. Just want to remind everyone, get up to that Metal Mayhem ROC website, join our community, and listen, all these past shows are there. Last week we had the History of Metal. A couple weeks ago, Tommy Victor from Prong. Udo is up there. Tons of content. So download, subscribe to the pod, and join our community by getting in on the newsletter. Metal Walt, have yourself a great day. Everyone else, we'll catch you next time. And as always, keep it heavy. See ya.
Metal for life.
Thank you for listening to Metal Mayhem ROC. Check out our website at metalmayhemroc.com for information on podcasts, archives, links to all our live radio shows, and all sorts of info. Please like, follow, and share with everyone, even your non-metal friends. And always remember to keep it heavy.